second quarter action here. Jalen Warren, Riley Nowakowski, and is at fullback. We saw him score a touchdown last week in that win against Green Bay. Warren, head down, gets extra yardage and gets first down yardage for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Running off the left side of that line right here.
So now let's take a look at some of the defensive plays here in this game, presented by NJM Insurance. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. And I'll tell you what, you talk about insurance, those guys come up and make plays from the safety position. That's pretty good insurance for a defense. And Rayshon Jenkins has been the star of this first quarter so far. Roman Wilson, Ben Skoranek in right now for the Steelers as we return to action. 1st and 10 after the Warren carry. Warren again trying to go inside and does a pretty good job right there of getting some extra yards. We look at the right side of that offensive line, Charlie. Spencer Anderson, Dylan Cook to start. We saw Broderick Jones there. Any chance that Maxie Hanashore can make it back, even though he has not been in any of these games so far?
Yeah, he's missed the last 2 weeks of practice, and now they're trying to get him up to speed. Next week will be that indicator. If he can get back, get on the field, yes, he can put his name into the hat. But if he's not, then that obviously limits his ability to be the week 1 starter.
So far, Warren, 5 carries, 17 yards. First amount of work here in the preseason games. 2nd and 4. Howard looking left, throwing as Darnell Washington. That's always, speaking about good insurance, that's a good one to have. Demario Davis and Will McDonald makes the tackle. And man, this guy, all he has to do is set up shop, throw it to him, and it's hard to bring him down, even though he's lost weight.
Nobody wants to tackle this guy. This guy is 6'6", 316 pounds. When he gets moving, everybody is bouncing off of him. But when he looks back, he's fresh off a contract extension this offseason. Congratulations to him. He's played in 50 games, 29 starts, and he took a leap from year 1 to year 2, and they love what they're seeing with him.
Yes, he got that new deal, 4 years, $42 million, $21 million guaranteed. Howard floating it down the left side, looking for Jeremy Bernard. Well defended right there, and it's Brandon Stevens who is back defensively for the Jets.
And Bernard, they're trying to get him involved in the game, working some intermediate routes, but here just a one-on-one on the outside, 50-50 ball. Just get up a little bit out in front to allow him to use that big frame of his to make that contested catch.
Stevens was the guy who signed big deal last year. He was with the Ravens, came over here on a 3-year, $36 million deal. 2 tight ends now for the Steelers. Freiermuth joins Darnell Washington on a 2nd down and 10. Howard so far 2 for 5 for 18 yards. Rico Dowdle is going to get the ball. And good backside pursuit right there for the Jets to knock that thing down. Let's go downstairs. Missy Matthews is standing by with more. Missy.
Well, guys, you were talking so much about Mount Washington, Darnell Washington, that is, and he said he is one of those guys who hates conditioning. When he got bored this offseason, he would go for a walk or run just to get his heartbeat racing. He said, I did it over and over again because I knew I needed to come slim down into this season.
Well, even slim down, he's still a very big man.
And he looks really good. Even though he's close to 300 pounds, he looks really good, and holds well for him.
3rd and 8, pressure comes. Howard steps up, delivers, and a strike. It's Ben Skoranek, who had 2 big 3rd down conversions last week. And it was Azarie Thomas who makes the play, not before he gets 16 yards and another 1st down.
And Skoranek just working a big in route. And the one thing I like is Will Howard wasn't able to set his feet, but had to roll just to the right, but able to reset his feet, deliver the football accurately, allowing the receiver to run.
All right, here's Dowdle with his best gain of the night. Bounces off a couple of guys, gets back up, but he was down by contact. Rico Dowdle's a guy who they really, it's funny to watch. The 2 best backs on this roster are both undrafted, which is a good lesson for anyone who knows. You never know when your opportunity is going to come. And he's one of those guys like Jalen Warren who took advantage of it and now it's turned into a really good back in this league.
And for people who followed the Steelers and you're a Steeler fan, you heard this story before because we had an undrafted guy who still holds the rushing yardage, right, at least longest touchdown in Super Bowl history. Willie Parker is an undrafted guy.
That's Willie. How about that? There's 2nd and 4, and that's a 1st down. Dowdle gets it. They move the change. The Steelers now move into red zone territory. It was Kingsley Imarbe sends the tackle there.
You see a whole different rotation coming in for the Jets right now. They're trying to see their next rotational defensive line going on here. But Dowdle, he's had 69 regular season games. He has started 26 of those in his 5-year career.
The marker right at the 20, so the Steelers with a 1st and 10. Underneath goes Dowdle, and he is hit immediately on that play and hit hard by Demario Davis, who was with the Jets since 2012. I mean, he's been there for a long time. Actually spent some time with Cleveland in between.
And they brought him in for his veteran presence. He spent a lot of time down there in New Orleans and picked him up unrestricted. 15th year in the league. Read the quarterback very well, knew he was going to dump the football off, was able to come up, make a tackle immediately.
2nd and 8 now for the Steelers, trailing 7-0. Again, the handoff is Dowdle cutting inside. Again, hit hard there. Goes down. It'll set up a 3rd down situation. That was Marcelino McCrary Ball, who comes up for New York to make that play.
You can see running on right side of that line right there, Spencer Anderson, Dylan Cook. He's trying to create those running lanes. Tighter you get into this red zone, tougher to run. And that's where that power of football comes into play.
This is one of the areas Mike McCarthy wants to see points, but not necessarily field goals. Get those touchdowns. And when Pittman and DK Metcalf are in there, 2 big guys to go along with the other guys, they have a tight end. It's Howard, and he throws that right into traffic there, and it's Andre Sisco who makes the interception, and that is a return that will take the Steelers away from getting any points and set up the Jets. And Andre Sisco, a 3rd-round pick of Jacksonville, he signed with the Jets this year. 1 year, $8.5 million, makes a big play, and the Steelers now go back on defense. He was intended for Roman Wilson. We'll be back to discuss it and more when the Jets go back on offense next. Gets a good 9-yard gain right there. And that's Tim Patrick who pulls it in. Let's take a look at that interception.
And right now you're not game planning against the defense, so you don't know exactly what they're going to do in the red zone. But Jets defensively, the safety does a nice job of cutting the crosser, and that nickelback actually goes back to play center 3rd in the middle of the field. Beautiful job of disguising by the Jets. That's one that you just have to learn from.
2nd and 2 after the 8-yard pickup by Tim Patrick. This is going to go to Patrick again. This time he picks up the 1st down. Not a big game, but enough to move the sticks.
That was one that just too many people in the box there, just throwing the bubble screen out there, knowing that you can block the corner one-on-one. The safety has to come from the middle of the field to make the tackle. That's one quick check, picks up an easy 1st down.
Robert Spears Jennings was there, and he, number 28, coming off a nice game last week. He also got involved in a little bit of a camp brawl up there at St. Vincent College with Max Hurleman. 8:22 left, 1st half. It's been all Jets so far. 69-yard touchdown drive. Now Klubnik in there after Geno Smith went 7 for 7 on that 1st drive. And it's Wangu, and he gets about 4 or 5 yards depending on where they spot it. Carson Bruner makes the stop. That's an interesting young man because he made the team because of his excellence in special teams. Now he's trying to make a role for himself as an inside linebacker as well.
Yes, he is. Played a lot of special teams last year. He's son of Steelers great Mark Bruner. Last week had 6 tackles. And when you look at everything that he's trying to evolve with, he wants to be more of a disruptor in that defense and wants to contribute more. Let's see how he continues to do in this game.
A couple of former Steelers on this team, and one of them is 79, Chuks Okorafor. He's in the game now. And Chuks, of course, originally selected here 3rd round by the Steelers back in 2018. Again, it's Wangu, not much there. Slaughter, Castro, Sawyer, a lot of people there. Let's talk about those middle linebackers because Landon Roberts was picked up this week. 10th NFL season, has a history. Last year with Vegas, of course, has a history here. And then you have Malik Harrison, who finds himself in a tenuous spot.
And those 3 are battling for that one position in there. Landon Roberts, he is the 2-time Super Bowl champion, spent time last year with the Raiders. But his time here in Pittsburgh, the ovation that he received when he walked into that team meeting, it was unbearable. It was emotional for a lot of guys, and they're excited that he's back on this team.
Absolutely. The guy who's very good at run stopping. Quick hitter, and it's knocked down there by Jack Sawyer, who got his mitts on it. That was intended for Isaiah Williams, and Sawyer came up to knock it down. Good play by 33.
And Jack Sawyer, he is that next star on the rise. If you're curious about what his play is like, just go back and put last year's Detroit Lions film on when he replaced T.J. Watt. He had a solid game. Out of Ohio State, national championship. That's the pedigree that they want on this team. 4 tackles last week, half sack.
And of course, played on that team with Will Howard. Made a big play in the run up to the national championship as well. 4th down and 5, and the Jets are going to roll the dice here. And why not? They're going to see what Cade Klubnik can do. It's Williams in motion.
I think they're just trying to draw them offside here, Bob.
See the discipline. And so far, Graham's got to be happy. Steelers are not going to bite.
This is one here, right? You're just saying, hey, we have this play in. Let's practice it so we can get it on film.
It is training camp. All these things need to be played.
They did a nice job of selling it. Defense did a better job of not moving.
There you see head coach of the Jets, Aaron Glenn, who had a big day here. You might remember this, Charlie, way back in 2002. It was that crazy game where the Houston Texans were outgained by the Steelers. I think it was like 422-20, but there were 2 pick six. He had both of them. And really what was an outstanding career, 41 career interceptions.
And he is a heck of a talent, and nobody wanted to throw his direction.
Tommy Maddox made a mistake that day and did 5 turnovers by the Steelers in that game. So that's one that certainly you remember just because of the way it was. The Steelers totally outgained them and could not win the game. We're going to go to a break. 7-0. 39-yard punt right there. Steelers back in business next.
Little Caesars iconic pizza.
A few other guys for that 3rd running back position. Last week, he only had 2 carries, so they're looking to see more of a feature from him to see if they can get him going.
And they're shifting around some guys on the offensive line. We see Brock Hoffman in the game. Play action. Howard. It's Nowakowski, and he gets 1st down yardage. And that's the kid who can do just about everything. He's an H-back kind of guy. Will McDonald was in coverage there, but that's what he did so well at Indiana.
Yes, it is. Last week he had 1 catch for 4 yards and a touchdown, but look at Howard going. First read was not there, able to find his outlet. Riley in the flat route there, and that's something that he does very well. They're looking for him to be that hybrid role in the same manner that Connor Hayward was last year.
1st and 10, Will Howard. Last possession interception by Andre Sisco. He wants to atone for that. He goes to Ben Skoranek, who is tripped up there by Trey Brown. Otherwise, he could have gotten certainly a lot more yardage. Good play by Brown, who's from Oklahoma and a former 4th round pick of Seattle.
And Skoranek, he was anticipating possibly going high so he could use his stiff arm. Defender went low. Last week, 2 catches, 36 yards, and people forget he scored the 1st touchdown last year against this Jets team. So he's looking to add more. All-pro special teams player last year, but he wants to contribute more in that rotational receiver group.
Howard looking left, throwing left, and that's Robert Tonyan, who made a big debut last week. 4 catches last week on 4 targets. Malachi Moore makes that stop, and that is a 12-yard game for Robert Tonyan.
This is veteran experience out of Indiana State. Watch Will Howard knowing where to go with the ball, dropping that football over top of the linebacker. You have to have touch. If you miss there, that is definitely interception because you had 3 other defenders around it.
And Malachi Moore was in position to make that play, but a very good pass by Howard. And it sets up a new set of downs. 1st and 10. Howard throws. Completion against Skoranek. He's short of 1st down yardage there. On a good tackle once again by Trey Brown.
And I like Mike McCarthy here. Say, yes, we're going to try to get the running game going. That wasn't there, but we're going to put the ball back into Will Howard's hand. Got him in the shotgun, able to find Skoranek on a curl route. He did a nice job at the top, working his way back to the football, making sure he shields himself from the defender.
Ben Skoranek, who's become Aaron Rodgers' best friend in his time here in Pittsburgh, out of Notre Dame. Former 7th round pick, but a Pro Bowler in special teams. That's Trey Brown, who made the last 2 tackles. He's being tended to right now One thing the Steelers wanted to improve this week was penalties. Last week they had 11 for 134. So far tonight, clean slate.
And that's what you want to see from week 1 to week 2. Last week they were beating themselves and they put themselves in bad field position because of those penalties, which majority of them happen on special teams. That is very tough for starting position. So nice job in the first quarter, or at least in the first half, with none up until this point. Hopefully we don't jinx.
I don't want to jinx anything. I'm just saying. I think coaches also look for how you respond to adversity. After that interception that Howard threw, he's 4 for 4 for 32 yards in this drive. So that's something to work on. Make it 5 for 5. It goes to Roman Wilson, but he's wrapped up before he gets the first down yardage.
Trying to get a little closer to that first down mark here.
And that's Jordan Clark. That's Ryan Clark's son. Ryan is here tonight, Charlie. We saw him on the field earlier, and Jordan, who was from Notre Dame, worked his way, does a lot of special teams work for them, but he's trying to earn a spot right there.
And I know this is a surreal moment for him because as a kid, he used to be in the locker room on Saturdays breaking the team down before we actually played the game the next day.
Lou Nichols had a nice game last week, had a nice preseason last year, gets the call and gets first down yardage, and the Steelers get another first down. Jack Heflin with the tackle. Let's take a look at Ryan. He's there with his family. Certainly had to be a great moment. Anytime you see a father and a family knowing that everything that it takes to get to this level, it's a pretty good feeling if you're a family like that.
Absolutely. Proud Clark family over on the other side. His mom and his sister sitting there as well. That was a little different as Ryan was standing on the Jets sideline, but yet he is here as a father, not as a former Steeler at this particular point.
Yeah, we did a show with Ryan Clark for 4 years here in Pittsburgh and had a feeling he'd be good in his broadcast stuff. And this is Max Hurleman in the game, first reception of this one, and it was Keenan Garber there to make the stop for the Jets. Hurleman always seems to put up good efforts in preseason.
He does. He has nice quick burst right there. He puts that ball, or at least foot in the ground to get upfield. Last week did a nice job on the out route, getting upfield, gaining some yak yards there. Wasn't able to get much, but again, he's looking to be part of that receiver group, which is a stacked group when you start talking about that 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th receiver. Essentially, we don't know if Mike McCarthy going to keep 5 or maybe 6 receivers this year.
All part of the roster puzzle, that is. Caleb Johnson, tough yards up the middle, not much there as it broke down the Jets, and they got some beefy players up front, and they make it tough to run right there. One of them is Jawan Briggs.
This is the 2-minute warning.
2 minutes left in this first half. The Steelers would like to get something going like they did last week, trailing 7-0.